Hi, this is Irina, your behavior analyst, and today we're going to be talking about how to analyze human behavior. This is the question that everyone asks me whenever I say that what I do for a living is behavior analysis. But how exactly do behavior analysts analyze behavior? I'm going to talk about just one part of the analysis. It involves a little bit more than what I'm just about to explain. But this is the most crucial part of behavior analysis. And without this, if this is not done, it's not even considered behavior analysis. So what am I talking about? We're going to be talking about how to find out what is a function of a behavior. And once a behavior analyst knows what is a function of a behavior, then we can go ahead and design an intervention because we will know what exactly in the environment needs to change in order either to reinforce behavior, and we reinforce behavior so we can increase them, or to reduce behaviors. And there's two ways to do it. We can use punishment or we can use absence of reinforcement as well. So in order for me to figure out what is the appropriate intervention to stop a behavior or to teach a person to behave, to teach him a new skill, I first need to figure out what is the function of the behavior I'm trying to reduce or to teach. So there are only four, yes, I said it, there are only four functions of all human behavior. Everything you think, do, say, everything your body does, all of that has four functions. What are the functions? The first functions is called an automatic reinforcement. And basically this is what your body does in order to receive reinforcement that is given to you by your own body. Let me explain. When you have an itch, right? That is something that's happening in your environment, right? It's out of your control why the itch started, but your body is signaling there is an itch. And in order to get your body to engage in that behavior, when you scratch that itch, when you bring your arm and you scratch it, you will feel relief from from the itching that you were experiencing. And this is exactly what automatic reinforcement is. Any behavior that the function of it is automatic reinforcement when you experience something pleasant done by your own body. So, for example, the behavior of masturbation is under the control of automatic reinforcement. Behavior of taking drugs is under control of automatic reinforcement because your body does something, no one else is involved. It's something that happens by yourself in your body, and it feels good. And the reason why people get addicted to drugs is because of the very pleasant response that happens in the body. And that's what keeps them coming back for more. If they don't have anything else that's as reinforcing as drugs in their life, they will be very much addicted to it. But if there is something more reinforcing, they will sometimes choose that reinforcement over drugs. And this is why I spoke about previously that a rich, nurturing environment is what's really needed in order to stop, young adults to engaging in drug use. If there is nothing stimulating about their own environment, they're going to turn to automatic reinforcement. So what's next? The next function of behavior, we already said one was automatic. The next one was, the next function is access to attention. Attention is extremely reinforcing to human beings. Why? Our survival since birth depends on how much attention we can get from the humans around us. If we get attention, we will be fed, taken care of, we will be in warmth, we will have water and any other nutrition that we need. But if we don't get attention, then we will most likely be lost or abandoned, right? So what kind of a behavior does, for example, a baby engage in order to get attention? Crying. That's the first thing that the baby does. That is already, it's so instilled in us, it's done since birth. No one has to teach a baby how to cry. They come out crying. Why? Because evolutionary crying baby got more attention and had more nutrition provided to them, more time was spent with adults, more time was spent learning and copying behaviors of other human beings. And that is what taught us our body that screaming is the first thing you got to be doing as soon as you're born. And you can see people do so many behaviors for attention. Anything that's going on social media, when a person posts something, the things that I'm doing right now, posting this video, my function is to get attention of human beings. I need eyes looking and ears hearing what I'm saying. That's the function of my behavior as well. When girls dress up nicely, wearing high heels, it's not just because it's automatic reinforcement and it feels good when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, but it's also because when you dress a certain way, you receive different attention, different type of attention from people around you. So that's what's reinforcing the cosmetic industry to keep making makeup, because it's reinforced by our society, right? Girls with makeup are said to be hot, while a picture without makeup, people say I'm self-conscious, I don't feel good, I wouldn't go out like that. All of that has to do with attention, right? Being a star, you love the attention. People enjoy being famous. Why? Because we're born wanting that attention. That is the second function of all human behavior. So now we've covered two: the automatic reinforcement, right? When your body reinforces you for certain behaviors. We have attention, when whatever we do is in order to get attention. And the third one would be what we call in behavior analysis, access to tangibles. And what does that mean? Tangibles is anything that is not a part of your body that is a physical thing. So water is a tangible. Air, I would consider as a tangible. Let's say clothing, money, home, food, all of those things are tangibles, right? A private jet, a yacht, all of those are very reinforcing tangibles to own for a human being, because in turn, even being on a yacht will get you attention. It might get people to want to maybe even give you tangibles, and you might feel automatic reinforcement because of you have learned to engage in, let's say, verbal behavior, thoughts, which is just verbal behavior to yourself that is reinforcing. You may say, oh, I'm so rich and I'm the best and no one is as good as me. So even those phrases in your mind after you buy the yacht is reinforcement as well. But my point was that people do things in order to get tangibles in their environment. And the very last and very important function of behavior is what we call escape. We do a lot of things in order to escape certain environmental variables that we do not want to experience, either because we have seen other people experience them and it did not turn out good, we didn't see it was paired with reinforcement, and also to escape something that we know to be unpleasant, perhaps even since birth, like pain, right? Nobody wants to experience pain on purpose. So escape maintain behavior would be anything that, even, for example, taking pain relievers. It's not just automatic reinforcement. Yes, it makes you feel good, but it also has a different component, another function for that behavior, and that would be escape. If your environment is filled with struggle, if your environment is filled with traumatic events, it is absolutely normal for your body to want to escape that. And this is why a lot of behaviors can serve that function. For example, when you see a tiger, right, you want to escape the pain of being mauled by a tiger. So your body starts running. Your fight and flight response kicks in. But let's say a different way of escape. Let's say you are a business owner and you have 50 employees, and those 50 employees, they make you a lot of money. And as a, private owner, the biggest thing that you enjoy about it, and the reason why you continue to, have 50 employees, is in order for you to not have to do the job of 50 employees. It would be basically impossible. It's impossible for one person to do the job of 50 people. But you can escape that almost impossible load of work while at the same time enjoy the tangibles, right? The physical rewards, the money that comes from having them employed. So the reason why people even have private businesses, why capitalism is so rampant in our world today, is because it is so reinforcing to escape all the work and at the same time receive resources that you by yourself would not be able to make if it wasn't for the fact that those employees are working for you. So this is the function of corruption, of unfair sharing of resources. It's because the person on the receiving end, their behavior is being reinforced by escape from the labor and access to tangibles. So you can see human behavior, even though there are four main functions, a lot of times a behavior can have not just one function. It can have two functions, three functions, and sometimes even all four functions. And especially when a behavior is reinforced with those four different types of reinforcement that I just mentioned, right? The four functions are the four different types of reinforcement. And if all of that is happening, it is very difficult for a person to stop. And I totally understand why the richest of the rich and the elite people who control our environment, who write the policies, why they continue doing it and why they're not going to stop until a real behavior intervention takes place in order to address that behavior. Because the behavior is reinforced and it is so difficult to give up doing something that lets you have resources more than you can ever imagine from your own personal labor, right? Because you have other employees. And this is what I wanted to talk to you about today, guys. So I hope you understand that when behavior analysts say that they analyze behavior, basically what they're saying is that, yeah, we can change the behavior, and first I need to analyze it. In order for me to perform an analysis, I will do different things, but the final outcome will always be, what is the function of this behavior? And based on that function, then I can manipulate the environment. So if the behavior is automatically reinforced, I can maybe put some kind of clothing or put some kind of a blocker, right? For a person to not feel that if they're scratching themselves really hard and I want them to stop scratching, I'm going to block it so they don't receive the reinforcement. That's one example. If a person's access to tangibles is the problem of the behavior, I will block that access to that tangible, or I will completely remove it from a person's environment. That will eventually stop the behavior. If a person wants to escape from something, usually we block the escape. We make sure the person cannot escape whatever task they're trying to escape. We'll make sure that they will follow through. Yes, they will be very mad about it, but after a while, body always understands, okay, this is a change in my environment. I will have to do it. I already tried all the other behaviors. They're not paying off. I can't escape. I might as well do it. It will be a better payout than me spending energy on escaping. And all of this is happening. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-year-old child or if it's a 42-year-old man. The body still processes and learns behavior the same way. It responds to environment the same exact way. And then the last one, if the function would be access to attention, I will remove people from the person's environment. I will direct people to stop looking at the person, stop talking to the person until they engage in a different behavior or appropriate behavior. That is behavior analysis in a really, really small nutshell. I want to teach you guys more about behavior analysis, and I'm working on an online class right now that will teach people basics of human behavior principles, so you yourself perform a superficial analysis of a human behavior whenever you see a person in your environment engages in some weird behavior or you don't understand what's going on. If you perform a very superficial analysis, you can find out, is this person trying to escape from something? Are they trying to get access to attention or maybe some tangibles? Or is this just automatically reinforced? It's nothing about the outside environment. It's the reinforcement that's coming from the body's environment. And by doing that, you will basically become foolproof. No one will be able to tell you things in order to trick you into doing something, because you will never just listen to the words anymore. You're going to look at a person's behavior. Why are they saying these things to me? What have they gotten out of this behavior in the past? You will start asking much more questions from people around you. And this is all in order to make you a more adapted human being in today's crazy world where the smartest of the smart exploit science in order to basically take advantage and exploit other human beings for their own selfish interests. Thank you so much for listening, and behave progressively. Goodbye.